Hey guys, welcome back to Hardly Working. If you can't tell, I'm out here at my new watermelon plot. Today I'm going to be putting in some irrigation. I don't have all the parts to complete the whole system, but I'll get a good head start on it. It's a nice day. So I'm going to show you how to do some of the different components and see how far we can get. So besides pipe in here, what I have for components is some valves. These are 24 volt regular old sprinkler valves. They have threaded on one end and barbed on the other end. And then I have 750 feet of 2-strand sprinkler wire. It's got the outer jacket, and then there's two insulators inside, independent, or conductors, I guess you could say. And then clamps, and then I got a couple extra sprinklers. Water comes all the way from my house, right over there somewhere, and it comes down this trench here, and it runs over to this hydrant here, this post I've got. I'm gonna leave this hydrant here to have for random use, just running water. And then I'll tee off of it and I'll go over into my first main sprinkler valve. There'll be a main valve, and then I'll have wires going into the shed, in through there. Wires will come up in that corner where that hole is down there, come run over, and then come up to my sprinkler controller, where I have a 12-zone sprinkler controller. Took this back apart, got my tool bag here. You're gonna want a sprinkler crimper for these crimp rings, a PEX tool or whatever you call it. You can just slide your clamps onto there, heat up your pipe, put your tee back in, and take your crimper, put it on this, and then crimp over the barb. That's where you want to crimp. And then don't line up your two ends, otherwise you won't get the good seal. So like I did there, stagger those two ends. Put a bunch of Teflon tape on this thing. So now I'm gonna heat this up. The manual valve, shut things off if I need to. This is the main valve. I won't be putting Teflon on everything, but this one's going to be constantly under pressure right here in this spot. So put Teflon tape on this one. Thread it onto my elbow here. It's got to be going facing this way. Don't lever against this, just lever against the body of the valve. So wondering about this torch, it's a power probe. I think it's their larger butane torch. You just fill it from the bottom. It's got a screw in the back, trigger to start it. You can adjust how the flame is. It's kind of windy right now, but it's worked really good. It's really reliable. I've used it a ton. So now that I've said that, my pipe's cooled off already, so that was stupid. She wants us to aim that way, so up there. So here's my wire. Like I said, it's 2-strand. I actually don't have my wire nuts yet. I'm missing a bunch of parts that I haven't received yet, but I can run this wire inside and get it wired up to the controller at least. Try and get this to feed up into here. Through my little hole I made. There we go. Should be enough where it'll stay. So my plan to fasten these wires is just to use these zip tie clips so that I can add wires as I go. I'm not going to install this all at one time, so I don't want to be wire stapling every wire. So I can just put them all there, and then when I'm done I can zip tie it together. So I'm just going to screw these along this bottom panel. Okay, Install a zip tie at each one of these, just loose, and then I'll pass my wires through it as I install this. As loose as I can go there. Passing my wire through all these zip ties. There we go. About time. Feed this through here. Okay. A little 101 sprinkler wiring. So a lot of your controller boxes will have multiple commons. The reason for that is because if you have two different valve boxes on either side of your house, you want to run wires to each valve box. And when it comes to the wire itself, white is always going to be your common. So I'll show you in a bit, but on your sprinkler valve, there's two wires coming out of that as well. It doesn't matter which one's which. It's a non-polarity, so it just completes the circuit is all it does. It completes the circuit between your valve zone. This is each zone has a wire. It completes the circuit between your zone and your common. They do that because instead of having 14 strands running to your valve box just for 7 valves, you can have 8 strands running to the valve box with 7 valves, if that makes sense. 18 gauge wire. Just like that. I'd say you don't want too much hanging out or else they'll cross in the thing here. In my case, this valve is going to be a main valve, which is connected to the pump circuit on my controller. So I'm going to loosen off one of these commons, as well as the pump. All it's doing is sending constant 24 volt power whenever any of these other zones are on. So whenever one of these zones is on, this zone will be on, because usually it'd be a pump relay. But in my case, it's another valve. So I'm going to hook this up to the common and then pump. Tug test, make sure nothing happens. That's pretty much all there is to it. These will all be filled out with zones, but for now, just that one. Here's my wire coming out of the box. Snip it off right here. Like I said, it does not matter which wire goes where, as long as they both are hooked up. I don't have waterproof wire nuts yet, but I will be getting some, so this is just temporary. Temporarily permanent. No, we'll actually get some wire nuts. And I'll be having lots of wires coming out in that same spot. Next video, or part 2 of this series, I'll be putting these two 12-volt batteries to make a 24-volt battery bank. I had them in last year. It works great. I just took them out for the winter. I'll hook them up, and then that'll give me a reading on here. That'll allow me to turn on my switch for my irrigation controller right here. Then I can test out all the valves, make sure everything's working. But that's about all I can do right now, because I don't have all the proper components to finish out this project until part 2. I know it's short, but that's about all I got for this video. Next video, I'll be installing all the sprinklers, all the valves, all the wiring. It'll be a big project. This is kind of just an intro. And if I'm lucky, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.